My name is Irene. I'm a mother of one of the new residents here. I was referred from another worker that knew about the group home, and he gave me the number just in case I needed it, because I do have a special needs child. And about September, October, my life turned upside down. I got divorced. So then I was head of household. I had to pay the bills, and I had to run everything, take care of my son, and I had to be paying everything. And so I turned to Antoinette, and I said, I need help with my son. And she swooped in like a wedding planner. She took care of everything. I didn't have to worry about anything. She did all the paperwork, she did all the contacts. She did everything for me to make my life easier so I could continue to work, and I know Brady was going to get placed soon. And finally he got placed. So now he's in a good place. Now I'm in a good place because now I can work and take care of my other kids and still continue to work.
We're getting a new patient today. This is the patient that makes all the difference because we only have 2 right now, and the first 2 cover all the overhead and expenses. But the 3rd patient is where we actually become a profitable business and can do some of the extra things that were already always a part of the original plan, like build out the garden. So yes, we're getting a new patient today. And we've worked on this patient for, is that 9 months? 10 months it took us from the initial meeting with the parent to an actual move-in. That is a long time to work on one patient, when naively coming into this business, I thought in 10 months, my house would be full. I was wrong. But yeah, today is the day. They're going to learn something, and we're going to help them. Oh, so where is it going, though?
In the office. You so happy asking that. He's getting you another roommate. He was going in there. Like, huh?
All right, so we've collected a lot of junk. Well, stuff, important supplies and materials. The new patient is coming today. We need to empty out this whole room, but in real life, we need to find a real space for this stuff. So that could go in the back shower. I want to sell it. So we bought this chair. We had a second patient arrive, and he didn't have a chair. So this is a Facebook Marketplace special that we got for him while we waited 6 months for insurance to approve him a chair. We don't need it right now. Even want to keep it just in case another patient come without a chair, but also, what if that don't happen? Oh, I just repainted these baseboards. God damn. This gotta go. This gotta go. Because now I see why I had to repaint. So we just had the painter come repaint all the baseboards because it was looking all scratched up. But that was really hard to roll without it hitting stuff. So I can see why it was fucked up. Them fresh baseboards. Them fresh baseboards. Hey, Eva, we got to get rid of that chair. Because it was actually very difficult to navigate this hallway. And I see why all the baseboards were fucked up. And I think that, like, it was an unusual situation. I think as we're meeting patients, we can do a better assessment in the beginning of what they got and, like, get the new stuff ordered ahead of time. But I don't think we got space to keep that. Hey, let's come get this closet. This is a mess. This is the closet of Airbnb's past. We still have all the linens and stuff. And now we finally have to get rid of it. Because it's Airbnb no more and we don't do these size beds. So, yeah. We're going to have to get rid of those too today. I think we can keep pillowcases. But this is a king This ain't even supposed to be at this house. Watch the top, the insert. Okay.
So all this stuff going in the back?
Yeah, with all the stuff going in Miss Bertha car, but in the back. This was a gym mat. We bought a playpen for the second patient because he came and hated his bed and would scream and go crazy the moment he saw the bed. So we bought like a playpen with a mat for him to be in until he got more comfortable with being in the bed. And now we got to get rid of it. But this for sale, this cost $200. We're not giving this away. We're going to put this on Facebook Marketplace. What is this? Shower stuff? Okay. I feel like this corner is enough to start with his stuff. This is a double room, so 2 patients' stuff have to go in this closet. So every patient gets their 2 towels, their rack for clothes. So this will be their towels, and then they have 4 spots for folded clothes, some hanging clothes, their hamper, bin and laundry. Oh well, bin and shower caddy. And then this backside, we have a patient that comes on the weekend. He's like part-time, so he comes 1 or 2 days a week. This bin is his stuff, and then he has his own set of towels and things, and eventually when he moves in, he'll have that full rack. Where do you want to put his bed?
You told me he was going to bed?
Yeah.
Towards the door? The feet towards the door?
So they can see him, yeah. Unless you want to do it another way, where you want to do it. All right, so the third patient we started working on in August or September of last year. It is now June, so that's almost like a full year. He was a referral from the home that we got the first patient from. So we met the person who transferred the first patient. We stayed in contact. We would just reach out occasionally, ask questions, chat, and he had a patient transported to his home, and one of the transporters was like, hey, I have a special needs kid. How do I get him into one of these homes? They are a pediatric home. Obviously, they couldn't take an adult. So he gave her my cell phone number. So she calls, she tells me everything, but we find out that he's not on APD. You know, I still don't know what I don't know. So I was like, okay, he's not on APD. Well, let's get him on it. It wasn't until we started that process that I found out that there's like a ridiculously long wait list to get on the APD waiver. So I got this referral. He's not on the APD waiver, but he should be. And so I just start calling whoever will answer the phone at APD and digging around until I get somebody to pull up his case and start a crisis process. So I felt like just getting on the wait list and trying to do it the regular way wasn't going to happen. But for his situation, because it was crisis, because like the family support system was changing, there was a divorce, they were about to have to move, he qualified for crisis. And with a crisis placement in APD, they're supposed to work through the case, make a determination, and then work through placement within 45 days. It's been months. So from September to December, it was just trying to get somebody on the phone at APD to look at the case, to pull it up, and to determine his eligibility. By January, they determined that he was eligible, and it took from January to June to actually complete the 45-day crisis process to get to a place where a referral came out for him, and we were able to schedule a transition call and make plans for him to move in. What am I missing in there? The hardest part of it was that you have us, we see the patient, the parent sees the patient, but everybody else that's a part of this process, doing the paperwork, moving it forward or not, they don't see the patient. And when you don't see the actual need, it is really hard for you to move with urgency, right? Like, we're moving very urgent. We're calling them literally every day because we can see the need. They can't see it. They're reading words on the paper. So it's a lot more difficult to motivate someone else. But then also he's one of who knows how many that are on that wait list that are trying to get in that they're seeing. So one of the things we did with submitting his package, because initially when we just submitted the words, they didn't offer him any nursing and they just came back with, oh, like he's regular with barely any funding to actually sustain him and provide him all the services he needs. So we had to be like, yo, no, this is not what he needs. What are you missing? So to put the full story together, because the initial process, they just worked with the parent and the parent collected documents from the doctor and submitted that. I didn't get to see any of that. But once it came out and they were finalized and said, okay, well, he's just getting X amount of dollars. And we realized how much of a gap there was between what they were given and what he needed. I was able to see the documents submitted and they just didn't tell the full story. So I literally drove to each of his doctors. Thankfully, they were only like within 20 minutes of here. I went to each of his doctors. I spoke to them and explained what he needed, what documents I was looking for, and the type of letter of medical necessity I needed them to write and what language. I would type up notes and say, here, this is the language I need you to put on the letter. So I went to all of his doctors to collect the documents, to get those letters written. And then I went and took pictures of him so that when we submitted that documentation, we're also now putting like a face to the name. Because you can still read all of that and be like, oh, this don't sound that serious. But you need to see a patient and see their condition to fully understand. And I think that made the difference because once we resubmitted it with the new documents and with the photos of the client, they came back with the total amount of funding that he actually needed. Oh, this is his mom. Hold on. Hey, Irene.
Hey, I'm getting ready to leave here to head over. Quick question. Does Brady need like bed pads or wipes until he gets his supplies there?
Yeah, because none of that came. So what we got was formula, syringes, some tape.
Yeah. All that's just feeding, but I didn't know if the hygiene supplies
No, none of that
got
came.
ordered and filled. Mm-hmm. Okay, all right. I have diapers, like 5 or 6 bags of diapers, but I'm running low on wipes and then bed pads, so I'll just grab those real quick.
Yeah, just bring everything you have in terms of that, and at least it gets us, a start.
Okay, all right. I'm just making sure. All right, see you in a bit. Oh, and then the delivery people called about.
I haven't got in here yet, so I'm going to have them park the trailer across the yard. And then all the stuff that you're bringing, you can unload it. Like there's a carport. We're just going to unload everything outside and then one by one set it up in the room like where it's going.
Yeah, and we have a dolly.
Oh, cool. I should have brought mine. That was smart. I didn't think about that. Okay.
Yeah, and then we need hangers for his clothes because I got hangers.
What kind of hangers you got? I'm a little picky.
The white hangers.
Oh, but they're not wire?
Hangers.
Okay, good.
It's like on Mommy Dearest.
No wire hangers. Exactly. That's the same movie I saw as a kid. No wire hangers.
I got the plastic hangers because he's going to be styling. All his new clothes are from Under Armour. But remember, his sister got 70% off, so he's not rich.
Okay. Well, you can bring the hangers. If we don't use them, we'll just donate them or throw them out. And I do have like a thing for some folded clothes to go. So whatever you got, bring it. We'll make it work. Whatever doesn't work, will be donated to a loving place.
Yeah, I can buy whatever he needs and have it shipped to your house through Amazon.
No,
all right, we're going to leave here in a little bit.
Okay, bye.
All right, bye.
I'm going to have to cancel my nail appointment. It ain't going to happen. Let me do that right now. Let's just call it. So Marina is putting together the patient board for the new patient. This is like the main spot of communication for anything that's happening with the patient in their room, mostly filled out by the CNAs. So feeding times, diaper changes, vitals, And any other notes or communication? I was gonna ask if you wanted to pull up or flip the car backwards or... Okay, I'll grab that too so you can help her. Yeah, go help her.
Goodness.
Welcome back.
How more stuff?
How much more? Because we sorted through every single thing.
Well, I had to keep his stuff for overnight.
Irene.
Credit. Yep, old lady's name. I'm growing into my name. Oh,
You want that now?
Back of my shirt. Did you read the back of my shirt?
I did.
What does it say?
I love that.
Your bad decisions are my job security. Her computer fried on her. It's an old computer. We bought her a new computer last year for her to use for work, and she will not stop using that 2003 laptop. And now it just froze. So the one that you guys went over yesterday is gone.
Do you guys use the over-the-counter for Medicaid? It's for each patient?
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's the OTC that they pay for. They give them 30.
25.
Yeah.
Some of them get 30.
There you go. You got 25. What's he getting gypped?
Yes.
Who do I go call?
One
You
of my
have to
people
give him
no,
up.
because they don't get the same amount. It all depends on the person. One get 35 here and one get 25.
Oh, okay.
I
Depends,
don't
yeah.
know why he get 35.
What happened? What was now?
Oh, yeah. Yesterday was supposed to be the patient move-in, but we've split it into 2 days. So yesterday was patient stuff move-in. So all of his supplies, his bed, bedding, clothes, all of those things came yesterday. And we intended to have that stuff arrive, set the room up, and then later that evening have the patient arrive. But there was so much stuff that we asked the parent to just wait until this morning to bring him, so we had time to go through all of the things that arrived, sort through them, throw things out, order new things as needed, so that when the patient comes, he can come and we can begin with care versus having to have done setup and care at the same time. So it was a lot of stuff.
It was a lot.
Eva, can you
Every
talk about,
intake was different.
Can you talk about the difference between the intake of a patient coming from a family versus coming from a facility?
You can't really say, right?
It's like the same.
In this case, it's the same. In some cases, one will be better than the other. So it's really case by case. Like all facilities are good or bad. All homes are good or bad. So you really don't know what you're going to get until they get here. But you did a home visit. You kind of have an idea. You know, we pre-visit before we accept somebody. So you have an idea of what you might be walking into.
Talk to the audience like, oh, this is our third patient. Now we know that from our first one we learned.
From the first one, we learned everything. We didn't have like our admission package together. We didn't have the paperwork that needed to be signed together. So we were doing that the day of arrival as they came. Second patient, we had all of our documents and forms ready to go, but we didn't anticipate the patient coming with things that couldn't be used, furniture that had to be thrown out, a wheelchair that had to be thrown out. So we didn't look hard enough during the visit where they were at what they had to prepare for what things they would need. So that first week scramble was getting him a wheelchair, getting him a new bed, like getting all the stuff that he came with that we didn't think was good enough to be here.
And then this time we already registered him with a pharmacy. He has a doctor's appointment already scheduled. Normally we'll wait till there's like something going on, like, oh my God, we need a pharmacy or we need a doctor. Everything's already scheduled.
Yeah, so we got all that ahead of time. And then with the second patient, we learned not to take a patient later in the
Friday.
week. He came on a Friday, so we had a weekend of no support, no doctor to call, just no access to anything. So now our policy is they have to move in either a Monday or a Tuesday. Mm-hmm. In this case, we're at Wednesday, but like at the latest, because we need to be able to call a doctor, but we pre-scheduled those appointments. We got all the prescriptions ahead of time so that there will be less surprises. It's still not like 100% tight. I think the ideal would be that on a patient arrival, at least a week before, we have doctor's appointments and things scheduled for the day of move-in. We have physically the copies of all the scripts. when we do the home visit, we assess the furniture that the patient has so that by the move-in date, that stuff is already here versus depending on the family or the other home to bring it. We got the paperwork down. So yesterday she signed all her paperwork, so that's good to go. But yeah, we're far more prepared this time, but even still, you just don't know what you get until it gets here. You're always going to find something where you're like, man, I wish I would have had this ready ahead of time.
And what's like the last thing that they should be prepared for? Like, I think you went over most of it, but was there like a checklist of any sorts?
We don't have a checklist. The documents you have to have, right? Like APD will dictate that. So we have to have all of our consent forms signed, medication administration consent, medical dental consent, informed consent. So those forms are like the only thing that you know that are a checklist. The other checklist we're building based on how we've learned to operate. So like as we've gone through these 3 move-ins, we now, when people move in, all of the furniture and items have to come before the patient. We don't let any of the things come directly into the house but the bed. Everything else goes in holding outside on the carport so that we can sort through. You also never know if they're roaches or creatures or things living and stuff. So we don't let anything come directly into the house until we get a chance to like assess it, go through it, clean it, and then we bring it in. We might make a checklist one day, but it all varies. Like, it's going to be different every time. So, no.
And this information that you got up until now, like, how did you know how to be prepared?
I didn't. We was not. We were not prepared.
As we go, each
Yeah.
patient.
Yeah, the first move-in, we had no idea what we were doing. And, we asked questions because that was from a facility. So we learned some things from them. So by the time the second patient came, we had got better on the administrative part based on what we learned from the first one, but still weren't prepared for like the actual physical process of the move-in. Now with this third one, we can move faster, right? Like as soon as we see that it's not good enough, I'm on Amazon ordering a new thing to arrive the next day. So I don't know. It's gonna forever be a work in progress. I'm okay with that.
Yeah, I think that
Is he in the Advent healthcare system?
He is now.
Okay, so you're gonna try to make practice of consolidating your patient care to one healthcare system?
Yeah.
So
So that's the nearest hospital.
yeah, and y'all have
Case of
been through
emergency.
so many ups and downs in building a relationship with them. They know y'all. They asked you to come and feed a patient in the hospital for them.
That was new.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
The devil you know.
All right.